To become a high priest, Ida Bagus must symbolically perform his own funeral and cut all ties to the ego. Only then can he serve society. A 1,000 years ago, the holy men who lived in this monastery, carved like a cave into the hillside, followed the same path. Living apart from society, they studied the Lontars and became advisors to Balinese kings. Together, priests and kings ruled Bali until the 20th century. The center of the Middle World was here in the great palace of Klung Klung. Today, the Hall of Justice is all that remains. The Kakord Mayun is the grandson of the last king of Klung Klung. In the days of his grandfather, Bali was peaceful and prosperous. Rice exports were worth 500,000 Dutch guilders a year. By 1906, Bali had become a temptation the Dutch colonial empire could no longer resist. The Kakord's father was then a young prince.
Ini foto siapa?
Ini juga fotonya beliau.
Raja terakhir.
Ya, raja terakhir di Klungkung.
Kegiatan apa pada waktu itu?
Di sini kegiatannya ya tidak lain, tandanya tidak ingin dijajah oleh Belanda begitu. Maksudnya, maka setiap ya keluarga raja supaya dibunuh gitu. Saya punya ayah pun begitu. Pertama dia kena di sini, ya, ini tulangnya ini sudah hancur ini.
On September 14, 1906, 3 battalions of infantry, cavalry, and artillery under the command of General von Tanagan landed on the beaches of South Bali and advanced towards the Palace of Badung. Bali was to become a part of the Dutch colonial empire. As the army marched inland, they found the villages deserted and in flames. Small groups of Balinese armed with swords attacked and were quickly killed. Several days later, the Dutch arrived at the gates of the Palace of Badung. 2 batteries of cannon fired on the Balinese warriors and the royal family, who were armed only with swords and lances. Within an hour, Dutch soldiers were looting the smoking ruins. Every Balinese in the palace was dead. For 2 years, the Balinese fought back. Princes and their courts chose death rather than surrender. Finally, the Dutch attacked Klung Klung, the last and greatest royal court. Though defeat was certain, Klung Klung would not surrender. The king and his entire court, dressed in their most elegant garments, purposefully marched into the gunfire. Those who were not shot stabbed themselves on the spot. Women disdainfully hurled jewels at their assassins, cheating the enemy of any sense of victory. The Balinese called this the Puputan, the finish. Yet the destruction of the great courts was not the end of Balinese civilization. Its real foundation lay in the temples. Thousands of temples survived the battles. Here, the flow of offerings has never ceased. The Dutch ruled Bali until World War II, when the Japanese Navy drove them out. The Balinese fought for independence and in 1947 became a province of the new nation of Indonesia. In 1969, a more subtle invasion began with the building of an international airport. A few thousand tourists arrived the first year. By 1979, they were coming at the rate of 1/3 per year. There are only 2 million Balinese. With the tourists came the technology and the ideas of the West. I Gusti Kaler, Balinese priest.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Kami, umat Hindu di Bali, sebenarnya menerima sesuatu warisan mentalitas dari leluhur, yaitu terbuka terhadap segala pengaruh yang datang dari luar. Tetapi itu tidak kami telan mentah-mentah. Teknologi, alat-alat komunikasi, elektronika, dan lain-lainnya, semua kami terima. Sebagai alat, dia belum bernilai baik atau buruk. Kami gunakan ia untuk berkomunikasi tentang ajaran agama, untuk membimbing tentang kesusilaan dan sebagainya, sehingga radio, TV, alat-alat komunikasi, tape recorder, dan lain-lain, semua merupakan alat yang berfaedah.
The coexistence of the ancient and the modern may be less troubling to the Balinese because their idea of time is very different from ours. We think of time as moving in a straight line from past to future. The Balinese see time as many repeating cycles. These cycles represent the rhythms of growth of the natural world. For instance, a flower is on a short time cycle. A rock is on a much longer cycle, while human beings are somewhere in between. Time cycles are repeated endlessly, so the past is never really gone. Balinese calendars don't measure the passage of years, but mark the way different time cycles intersect. This is one of the simplest Balinese calendars, containing only 2 cycles as well as the gods and demons that affect them. Each day has a special quality, depending on where it falls. The only example we have in our calendar of intersecting cycles is when Friday falls on the 13th day of the month. Along the top are the gods. At the bottom, demons. Reading down, the days of the 5-day cycle. Reading across, a 7-day cycle. This is the day of Dapat, the free-floating head. The goddess Durga has power over this day, as well as the buffalo-headed demon. This is a 35-day calendar. There are hundreds of others. Some calendars keep track of cycles of 10,000 years.